Welcome to another neck-snapping episode of Fearless TV, the program that knows the couch needs human attention. Coming up the next half hour, big-time board and ski action in our favourite patch of powder. We'll sniff the thin alpine air from high above, and we'll hit the half-pipe with some style and air. All this and more on Fearless TV. Everybody who's ever stood 10 deep in a lift line knows that special feeling associated with one of those rare days spent amongst the untracked powder on some remote slope. Whether the effort getting there consisted of many hundreds of metres trekking and climbing uphill through frozen wasteland, or scaling down an icy cliff with a backpack attached, it's always worth the hour or so spent in fresh, crisp powder. The best of nature's wonderful stuff is usually found among the trees where others fear to tread. So we started this day in the woods and finished up on a wide open pasture with nothing but the sounds of our own breathing to keep us company, which is not always a bad thing. Apart from providing an outstandingly soft landing spot when it doesn't all quite come together, the other beauty of powder is it requires some adjustment to appreciate the flowing currents of the snow. This is sometimes a good test of the skier's or snowboarder's ability to adapt to various terrain, something most capable riders are able to do. Once the subtle art of floating on and through the powder with either the front of the board or the ski tips up is mastered, the learning curve towards cruising comfortably is only a short one, and the satisfaction of carving clean lines where no one has ventured before is very gratifying. The mountain bike has become one of the most used and best loved forms of travel during the last 10 years. And along with its recreational use, the competitive element of the sport now attracts almost as many participators as recreational riders. Downhill mountain bike competitions are staged in the off-season at many popular ski resorts around the world, partly because of the suitability of the terrain and the ready-made access in the form of lifts to the top of the runs, or in this case the courses. This particular course in Australia's Alpine region features some highly technical single-track sections, as well as downhill speed straights over a vertical drop of 600 metres, with maximum speeds ranging from 80 to 90 kilometres an hour over the descent. To accomplish high-speed descents like this, many specialised components are required. Most bikes feature disc brakes, substantial suspension travel, slalom pedals, and lightweight high-strength frame assembly. Also required is personal safety gear of a high level, including full body armour, shin protectors, specialised boots, helmet and gloves, as crashes do frequently occur, especially in the dual eliminator contest.
Keep going.
We'll have more highlights from the Threadbow Dual Eliminator on upcoming episodes of Fearless TV. Halfpipe snowboarding has become one of the biggest draw cards of winter expos and snowboarding competitions around the world. The crowd associates most work done in the halfpipe with big air, and it's not hard to see why riding the pipe is such a big attraction. With many of the more complicated moves derived from half and full pipe or pool skateboarding, with the added bonus of being able to attempt difficult tricks, knowing that snow is far more forgiving than concrete. One right now for the novice half-pipe riders. The trick to dropping back in off the transition is to hit the lip and stay lined up for re-entry. Here's how not to first. Few sports are able to match the sheer serenity of gliding, be it in a fixed-wing glider over some dirt airstrip in the desert, or in a slightly more comfortable cockpit of a two-seat glider with instrumentation, or even hanging underneath a canopy. There's a definite connection between man and his need to fly. The freedom of the wind rushing by your craft of choice without the noisy sounds of a mechanical engine is second to none, and a few hours soaring among the clouds has tremendous therapeutic value. And hell, it's probably a lot cheaper than a psychiatrist, and definitely a lot less intrusive. Thermal air currents at this altitude are many, and with a little experience can be ridden to perfection for hours on end. Sit back now and imagine your couch has wings. Who was it that said you're never too old to try something new? Probably somebody in their 50s. Here's a new form of river rafting based on the ever-popular armchair design. Time to check out the latest batch of grommets and their progress into the next level. A 3-foot swell is all that's needed when your total body weight is about the same as the board, and manoeuvrability in small waves is not a problem. The Women's Pro Tour is also gathering momentum and becoming stronger and more competitive each season. 17 annual events now feature as part of the World Tour, with growing prize money and an ever-increasing number of spectators. Thanks to the profile of surfers like Wendy Botha inspiring a whole new generation of female riders, there are now so many girls shredding up the surf the competition format has had to change. The introduction of a qualifying series to eliminate all but the top 11 riders, who then make it through to the World Tour, is seen as a cutthroat but necessary element in the evolution of Women's Pro Tour. Other groups, such as Women on Waves, have been formed to recognise both greats from the past and future stars. Longboard or Malibu riding has made a comeback in recent times as well. And old-time tricks such as hanging 5 and 10 also feature prominently. Only in New Zealand will they devise a new whitewater adventure called River Bugs. Promoted as a total support system for riding the rapids and cruising the high-speed currents, it's based on an armchair design and not hard to see the appeal. If you're big on combining armchair comfort with extreme sports, this one is definitely for you. There's even a demonstration lecture if you've forgotten how to sit in an armchair. Each inflatable donut-shaped pod fits snugly around the rider and features buoyancy chambers behind, underneath and beside the riders, as well as extra thick closed-cell padding to offset impact from rocks and boulders and to prevent drink spillage. Along with protection from the elements, propulsion comes from webbed gloves, much like those sometimes used in bodyboarding. Then it's off to tackle some serious water. Although they look a bit shonky, the River Bug is a vast improvement over the old car tyre method, and with a few further modifications, could be here to stay.